There's some questions?
Yes, Maharaj. First question is, what was your experience on last Vedalife festivals?
Why? That's like 9 months to. It's time for the next one.
Ready for the next.
Oh.
That's why they're asking.
Not in Russia, but all.
Uh-huh.
How was your experience? Vedalife experience. Mysterious.
Well, I'm reminded of something that Srila Prabhupada said a long time ago. As we know, he came from from Mahaprabhu's land to be, sprung out of that soil, and family's favorite of Nityananda Prabhu, such an exalted history, and sometimes on his order, when I was serving in Calcutta, we would be sent to his family, the relations on Mahatma Gandhi Road, which was Harrison Road when Prabhupada, he was born right on Mahatma Gandhi Road, and lived there as a child. To the family, to do kirtan, have little programs. But we know Srila Prabhupada, in pursuance of the orders of Srila Saraswati Thakur, that led him to Vrindavan, to take the room, the Bedanam, and Radha Damodar, the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami, Spajan Kutir, deities of Jiva Goswami, Jiva Goswami's Samadhi, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, Bhugarbha, etc. There, he was translating the Srimad Bhagavatam, typing it up, living a very simple and humble life. I'm always thinking of the order of Srila Saraswati Thakur to not, we say in principle, what was it? I mean, we can say, oh, he told him to go to the West to preach Krishna consciousness, English-speaking countries. But in principle, saying not to be content with your own pursuit of Krishna consciousness, but to extend that to others. What's been freely gifted to you, there's this tacit understanding that you shall extend it to others as far as you're capable. And as Srila Gurudev would say, if I have 5 rupees, I do a 5 rupee business. You think, well, who is 100% Krishna conscious? 1%, 5, 20, 25, 50. Whatever you have, that's what he means. I have 5 rupees, do 5 rupees business. If I have something by the grace, Guru and Vaishnava, then extend that to others. That's the principle. So Srila Prabhupada, when he says on the boat, daily I am relishing the nectarine of Chaitanya Lila, which is the source of my all vitality, gives us a hint of what his normal life is. It's dealing with these things, which means Mahaprabhu, Radharani, Krishna, and their divine associates. So daily, he's taking Krishna Nam, he's hearing Charitamritam, he's doing all these things, and when possible, he's sharing that with others. Really, what preaching is to share this. But once Srila Prabhupada said, when people would talk about him, Guru Maharaj included, there's a park in New York City called Tompkins Square Park. Greenwich Village has Washington Square Park, but Tompkins Square Park near there, another one. And that's where he would go with his mridanga and kartals, kol kartals. And Guru Maharaj said, and what? With Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nam Sankirtan, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And you can see some pictures. There's no Prabhupada there, and there's some first disciples, Gargamuni comes to mind, Brahmananda Gargamuni and others, but you see them, they're like dancing, and Prabhupada's playing the mridanga, so it's a little mini festival. But the point I mean to make is that when asked about this, reflecting back on that time, which some people see as the as a beginning of what Hayagriva Prabhu called the Hare Krishna explosion, Prabhupada said, I was doing what I normally do. Like, this is what I like to do. I like to sing about Krishna, do Nam Sankirtan, talk about this is what I do. And so he said, I was prepared to chant if no one came. It's not to say, oh, no one came. Oh, then we don't chant. There'll be no Bhagavatam, no reading, nothing, because nobody came. Right? The famous event where nobody came, or next to no one, where there are devotees and they're apologizing to Prabhupada. We've also been on many programs where one person came, a few, or less than we anticipated. And we've been in programs where thousands come. That Vedalife festival, estimate around 25,000 people over that weekend. But my point is, we do this whether anyone comes or not. Of course, we like to have a festival where 25,000 people come. But if they don't come, then we will still chant the name of Krishna, hear about Mahaprabhu, Radharani, because we like that. But what we like even more is to share that with someone. So really these festivals, they're an opportunity to share what's been gifted to us by the grace of the Guru Varga, to share that with others. There may be so many aspects to the logistics of organizing a festival and doing so many things. But we should never forget why we're doing these things. Something has been gifted to us. We want to bring others in connection with that. Share the good fortune. So Srila Avadut Maharaj, he is expert at arranging these festivals to give people the opportunity to come in connection with the substance of Krishna consciousness. Whatever else there is there to get, bring them inside the tent, to get them inside the door. That Guru Maharaj said, and quoting Saraswati Thakur's motto, bait. Pujala ragapata gauraba bange, matala sarujana bishaya range. That it not be misunderstood, Gurudev changed to kirtana range. But the original bishaya range, Guru Maharaj said, what Saraswati Thakur was saying, some bait will be used to entice people to come in connection with that worshipable plane. Pujala ragapad. It's with folded palm, we realize that is far above. Others try to bring that down into this plane prematurely, insubstantially, and everything is ruined and spoiled. Saraswati Thakur's idea is to bring people to a position one step removed from that plane, to approach it with awe, veneration, for them to revere it, to come to the point of, in other words, expressing some appreciation for its dignity. But the means for that may be all inclusive. As Guru Maharaj said, the plane we seek is the most exclusive, but the means to achieve that, come in connection with that, are all inclusive. Guru Maharaj hints at that, more than hints, in his pranam, one of his many pranams to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Nikhila Bhuvana Maya, Chinna Vichchinna Kartri, Vibhuddha, what is that? Mrigya Mukti Mohanta Dani. Shitilirividi Raga Radhesha Dvani. Vilasatu Hridi Nityam Bhakti Siddhanta Vani. Chinna. Mrigya Mukti Mohantadan. Anyway, this Kshitilita means most often rendered as slackened. He's easing the access point when he said, much to the surprise of his disciples about the London preaching in the Western world, that he was prepared to make a youth hostel that would have non-vegetarian food supplied by a restaurant for those of that a diet. Once it was time for prasadam, and one gentleman, right before the prasadam came, he got up to leave, who'd been with Gurudev for an hour or so. And it was someone we know, and I said, oh, Maharaj, said, why is he not staying for prasadam? And Gurudev, he always knows when you've presented him on a golden plate some opportunity to say something. And he was like, oh, he becomes very drunk. Oh, Maharaj, he has a special diet. And I said, really? What is that special diet? He said, meat, fish, egg. And he's on a special diet. But anyway, knowing this, Saraswati Thakur said this idea that at this youth hostel, that non-vegetarian food would be arranged. Guru Maharaj was shocked. And couldn't contain himself and said to Saraswati Thakur, I think the end result of this policy is like our people may get contaminated. We may introduce contamination. And Saraswati Thakur spoke something that Guru Maharaj said struck his heart like lightning. And he said, oh, you don't know, I decided this 10,000 years before. And he said, you have to have Vaikuntha Britti. And here, Vaikuntha, like one of its meanings without limitation. So in this sense, without restriction, liberal to the maximum. And we could say this, that before anyone goes off with the wrong idea or notion that If this came from anyone less than Saraswati Thakur, it'd be highly suspect. Right? But considering who Saraswati Thakur is, Jati Rajaganai, the Jati Raj, the king of the sannyasins, that he's under the auspices of the guidance of such a Vaishnava. The possibility was there. So, Vaikuntha Britti saying, not that we shall slacken our principle. That's not his idea. Saying, but we shall be generous and the access points for those who we want to extend the good fortune of a connection with Krishna consciousness. So, some festival-like atmosphere, but only for this purpose, to bring people in connection with Krishna conception. Otherwise, what is the point? So, for so many years, we thought the word Veda meant knowledge. We thought of it in that way. Until we heard Srila Guru Maharaj say that really the word is in an imperative sense. It's saying, know this. Not knowledge sounds static. Right? It sounds like information or data. That's not what it is. Nor said Veda means know this. And what does that mean? What is the implication? Is that Amnai prahatatvam harim iha paramam sarvashakti rasabdim. Amnai, it's descending knowledge from the upper world, descending into this world, from the Adhoksaja realm into this realm. So it's beyond doubt, suspicion, scrutiny. Saying, know this in good faith. You can know this to be true. Good faith. Shraddhan vito anushranaya atabarnayedya. Sometimes Guru Maharaj used that as an example. When were they Spanish or Portuguese explorers? I think it was Vasco da Gama. There's the Cape of Good Hope, right? Still in Africa, I believe. I'm not a geography specialist. But so that like navigating the ocean, and here's the Cape of Good Hope. So we hear often these descriptions, the ocean of nescience, the insurmountable ocean of nescience. Right? Bhavabipotam Bande Mahapurushate, and one of the songs, comparing the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu to a boat to carry souls across the ocean of nescience. Guru Maharaj says that in a prayer also written in glorification of Saraswati Thakur. Navigating that under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnava, Sadhu and Shastra. It's mentioned also in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the comparison saying the human form of life, in this example, is the boat. And the disciples, like passenger, and gurus, the captain, Karana Dharna Ivarnavam. And he knows what are the favorable winds? The instructions of Veda and scripture. And he knows how to navigate those winds to successfully cross over. So really, as Gurudev would say, recalling Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that a festival, a mahotsav, there must be at least one Vaishnava, because they say, how many people makes a festival? That, 25 or 50, 500, 5,000. What makes a mahotsav? Gurudev would say, quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there must be at least one Vaishnav. If there's one Vaishnav, then there's a festival. Just like at that story about the mongoose and the bell ringing. Anyway, so we don't take it that we ourselves are that, but we think, if our Guru Varga, they're pleased with the outcome, then that's a great festival. So we know, and I know personally, Srila Gurudev would watch video from these festivals repeatedly, and he'd be very happy to see all the people joining in the kirtan especially, and prasadam distribution, and there's also book distribution. Those are the substantial things that are going on. And Srila Avadut Maharaj, he's been arranging these festivals for a long time now, and they're just growing in size and quality. I remember being with one in Moscow, and it was so big that the government was nervous about how many people were coming. It was that big. It's going to be like 50,000 people. So they wanted to cancel it. It was going to be too big. And Maharaj very cleverly, you don't have to, you can edit this part out. No, but he told him, all right, if you do that, then, there'll be a big scandal in the newspapers that you stopped this festival. Then they thought about it more, and they said, well, then scale it down, not 50, if you can. So when we went there, I had the honor, privilege to sit beside Srila Gurudev. And Avadut Maharaj came over, and there's a big stage, and there was maybe, 10,000 people. And Avadut Maharaj was apologizing to Gurudev that there were only 10,000 people. At least 10,000 people. And he told Gurudev not to talk about Krishna on the stage. And so it's supposed to be Indian culture, all these things. And while I was sitting next to Gurudev, I saw on a napkin in Bengali, he was writing his talking points. Just a few lines like that. He's thinking, just writing something. Then finally it came time for him to come on the stage, and he's praising Indian culture and this, that, and the other thing. And then at last he said, but it is impossible to speak about Indian culture without speaking about Krishna. All right. So, there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. As Gurudev said, the wills of Krishna. So, anyway, we look forward to that opportunity again this year to participate in. And by this I mean what Ukraine and Russia and all those and Moscow, everywhere, Kiev, all of it. It's all part of a grand festival. And so many souls get the opportunity to hear something about Krishna. The Bhagavatam says, Sudurlabha Bhagavata hi loke. very rare in this world to get the opportunity to get Bhagavat connection. Book Bhagavat, person Bhagavat. And it does Sangsaresmin Kanardopi Satsanga Sevadiyunrinam. Here Sevadi means treasure. And saying the treasure of human life, having achieved the rare opportunity, Sudurlabha, what is it? Labdva Sudurlabha Bahu Sambhavante. Human life is so rare to begin with, but within human life, if you can get even a moment's association with Krishna's devotees, it's a satsanga sevadi rinam. It's the most valuable treasure to be acquired by a human being. So really these festivals are that, nectar is being served on a golden plate, and the people get the opportunity of a lifetime, of a million lifetimes. We shouldn't forget that or underestimate that. Should not forget. This is actually the purpose behind all these things. Any other question?
Maharaj, second question is, to what degree should we use our own intellect and experience in practical service? For example, when we construct something, or should we do exactly what we ask to? How to avoid becoming such a disciple who brings his guru milk instead of water?
Well, it depends on if the guru asked what he asked for. Sometimes maybe we should bring milk if that's been asked for. But it's referencing, two things. Prabhupada told this example once as the guru asks for water, and the disciple goes off to get that, and he's thinking, well, milk is better than water. Hot milk is very nice. Hot milk with a little sugar, maybe some masala milk. That would be nice. Masala milk, hot masala milk. Like the Thai people, you go, I want an iced tall caramel macchiato, hot or cold? At least they ask, but so Prabhupada said, then you're overly intelligent, and he doesn't mean that as a compliment. Saying your intelligence has gotten carried away with this type, milk's better than water, hot milk, sugar in the milk, hot masala milk, and he wants a glass of water. You're not doing the desired service. Then your intelligence is skewed. You're not thinking, using your intelligence to supply what's been asked for. So, but Guru Maharaj gave another very similar example, saying the Guru asked for water, and this is in the context of India a long time ago, and you go and you say, there's a pond, you're going to get some water, and you see, this water is not fit for drinking. He said, and then we have this experience here recently. Right? There's some water, you say, this is not fit for drinking. So you use your intelligence, say, yeah, you asked for water, so just get me a glass of water, but this water, I'm not just going to literally give, because that's what asked for, I will literally supply that. I can see you, with my intelligence, this is not fit. The implication is there that he wants, drinking water, and it should be fit for drinking. So we take it from another source. So Guru Maharaj implying that in this example, it appears as though he's deviating from the order. The first person, it appears that he's fulfilling the order when he's actually deviating. And the second example, it appears that he's deviating, but he's actually fulfilling the order. So, someone's being asked to do something, some construction. What's coming from the guru source, the guru may not be architect or expert at construction or these things, but is conveying an idea. Then the person who has those skills is using their intelligence to interpret what's been asked of them. So these are practical matters, right? Practical, common sense. That said, Guru Maharaj said, so many times, he takes his stand on spiritual common sense. Many things he said, they're common sense, but like spiritual common sense. So the Bhagavatam sloka, etabaj janma sapalyam, etc., is saying, engage your body, mind, words, wealth, intelligence, offer that in the service. That said, we shouldn't be carried away with our own perceived, skills. We have to be very cautious about these things. I remember once, Srila Guru Maharaj wrote a letter to ISKCON and asked me to read it before he sent it. And I saw that in, say, 2 sections, there were 2 sentences that although no offense was intended, the wording could be interpreted by them as being offensive. So when Guru Maharaj asked me, what do I think about the letter? I said, on the one hand, I think, well, there's nothing objection. This letter is a wonderful letter. There's nothing objectionable. But then I thought, but on their side, from his side, on their side, and I told him, these 2, or these words and these 2 sentences will be misinterpreted as being offensive. And he said, change them. And that was that. His own example, he's saying, Saraswati Thakur dictated something in English that was not perfect English. When it was brought to the editor's attention, he became somewhat indignant and said, then let the dictionaries and grammars be changed. But our Guru Maharaj said this and it's perfect. And the devotees who were hearing Guru Maharaj tell this story, at that point in the storytelling, they were going like, Jai, Haribol, that's the spirit. That's a real disciple. They were so happy to hear that. And Guru Maharaj was going, wait, like I'm not through yet. And then he said, another higher disciple came and said, our service is we're presenting our Gurudev to the public. He said, just as if he's taking a picture and something is not right, the garland, the dress, we adjust that. We accept him in all circumstances. But we're thinking, this picture is going to the public. If we see something out of place, we put it in place. He said, so if you present to the public something that was said and there was expressed incorrectly, then some fault will come, some blame towards Guru. Saying, so our service is to make it correct, and then send it to the public. Didn't say, oh, that's literally what he said, just then leave it that way. We mentioned before the Pujala Ragapata Sloka. Gurudev, seeing, for Western people it's irrelevant, they don't know what any of these words mean. But in Bengal, when they hear the word Vishaya, it can have a negative connotation to them. Generally, a Vishayi means a sense enjoyer, a materialist. Vishayarange can sound like, and they enjoy, in the name of serving something higher, they're enjoying mundane things. Knowing very much the Bengali mentality, and Gurudev thought for public consumption, some adjustments should be made, and Guru Maharaj approved that. So things have to, carefully be considered. Once some devotees were telling Srila Prabhupada, they said something like, it says in the Bhagavatam, King Ugrasena had 13 trillion bodyguards. Scientists cannot accept this. Prabhupada said, you told that to a scientist? Find something that's more appealing and acceptable. For they've accepted the principle of Achintya Shakti and Adhoksaja and all those things. This is not what you would lead with. Right? So, at the same time, we don't want to be, apologists for Krishna conception. But substantially, what is Krishna conception? We're not here, our purpose is not to defend, Vedic culture of 5,000 years ago, or to reintroduce those standards in the modern society. That's not described anywhere, actually, that's going to happen. That the Kali Yuga is somehow going to transform into some worldwide, reboot of Vedic culture and civilization. Saraswati Thakur talks something about Deva Varnashram. And that's like the Krishna consciousness movement. The Vaishnavas, they're doing whatever work is required, whether it be the Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahminical work. They're in Seva, all of these things are desirable and acceptable. So, anyway, when some service comes to us, we'll use, Kai Manobhaka, body, mind, words, intelligence, everything we've got, in pursuance of successfully rendering that seva. And if there's some doubt in our minds, then consult. It's come down to us, then consult for clarification. It says when Saraswati Thakur said he wanted, he said like 100,000, we could say, I don't know, there it's paisa, means like pennies, kopecks, whatever you want to say. The smaller unit, saying he wanted 100,000 of them for the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. And one devotee, what do they call him? JB, Jagabandhu. He gave 3 lakhs of rupees. So it's like saying, I want 100,000 pennies and someone gives $3 million. So all the devotees were ecstatic and happy. And they said to Saraswati Thakur, you asked for 100,000, paisa, but Jagabandhu Prabhu gave, 3 lakhs of rupees, so more than what you asked for has been given. And Saraswati Thakur said, no, what I wanted has not been achieved. And everyone's thinking, no, but he gave in excess of what you were asking for. And then he clarified by saying, what I wanted was that 100,000 people would give something, would get some sukriti. 100,000 people would give, whether it's a rupee, $1, or whatever. So one man, he gave everything, but I'm thinking about those the lack of people. 100 lakh means 100,000. So then we find out more what was at the heart of the instruction. But on a practical level, if there's something unclear, then we consult to clarify. Yes.
Maharaj, is it substantial to have sukriti for 1 paisa, or like some metaphor?
Yes. Once this Russian lady came to me in Lata, and she's giving, a small amount of rubles. Someone else is giving a large amount. This lady she's giving a small amount of rubles before, like at the end of the festival, speaking of festival. But as I inquired from her where she came from, she'd been on like a 5-day train ride. Not 5 hours, not 25 hours, 5 days on the train. You can understand where she came from. Like Vladivostok or somewhere, What's that town? Khabarovsk? Something. Way out there. This woman came all the way on that train, and the festival, then gave something, then was getting on the train to go all the way back. And so sometimes Gurudev would hold up a small amount. Some people were giving him large sums of money, but hold a small amount of money and say, this is very heavy, because of how meaningful and from that person. Even Srila Guru Maharaj himself, we know his maxim, his service, according to the intensity of its necessity, draws remuneration. So once when he was the head of the Delhi Mat, he sent to Mayapur for the annual Gaur Purnima festival something like 50 rupees or whatever, and to give something. But it just so happened that what he gave, it arrived at a time, and he said, please engage us in the service of Mahaprabhu. But it came at a time where there was no money. So there was a great necessity at that time. So Saraswati Thakur wrote back a letter saying, your contribution is so extensive that not only did I use it in the service of Mahaprabhu, but I used it in the service of Nityananda Prabhu also. And I've seen in Bombay, Srila Prabhupada, there'd be these big, like Pandal program, and the people, there'd be a time where they'd come up and give, 5 rupees, 1 rupee, some coins, and all these things like that. And this is Prabhupada, he had negotiated Juhu Beach. It's like the Hollywood of Bombay, this property, $1 million property, $1 million buildings going up. But then back in his room, we put out a big sheet, like rug or something, and took all of that money, and every coin was counted. I mean, it's not only like rupee coin, but 50 paisa, 10 paisa, 5, 2, 1. Every coin was counted and logged in a book and treated, in a worshipful way. Because then, Lakshmi Devi, and like on the principle, once something is offered in the service of Guru and Gauranga, it achieves this worshipable position. So he didn't think, oh, I don't need these coins, or these from poor people. I have millionaires giving. No. And if we understand satsanga, seva dir, that treasure, seva dir, this was their opportunity to give something of their accumulated energy to Bhagavat personified, like that. How fortunate they are. The amount in this context is irrelevant. We say, oh, satsanga, kanardopi, kana means a moment, sarusanga, sarvashastra, lavamatra. That indicates, even from the least, it's telling us the least connection with this plane, the agent of this plane, is sarva siddhi hoy, is capable of delivering perfection. One person, someone gave him the Guru Maharaj's Bhagavad Gita, and he read that. It's actually one of the teachers at the school here, where the kids go to school. And one man had it, let his friend read it, his friend read it, and he read the part on the Gita Mahatmya, and it said something about like, even if, an unrepentant murderer at the time of his death, comes in connection with the Bhagavad Gita, he can, be totally liberated. And this bothered him. And I thought, how wonderful, how hopeful. He thought, oh, this will encourage abuse. Like when Guru Maharaj told me, and I asked him about the api chet suracharo sloka, I said, some of your god brothers objected to your interpretation? And Guru Maharaj, he said, who are these god brothers? But he was just kidding. And I said, I don't know, you said it, Then he laughed and he said, Judge of our Maharaj. First he said, who are these people? I said, I don't know, I'm just, I heard, you told me that. He said, he laughed, Judge of our Maharaj. Why? Because saying, api chet suracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. Who is an ananyabhak bhakta? Exclusive devotee, pure devotee. Even if he's apparently done something abominable, it's not to be seen that way. Kipram bhavati dharmatma sasvat shantim nigacchati konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. It's very interesting. Kipram bhavati dharmatma normally we'll say, quickly he rectifies himself. He goes back to the dharmic position, so it's forgivable. That would be like a standard way of thinking. But that's not the interpretation given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur nor Srila Guru Maharaj. It's a way, but that's not what he was talking about. He says, if he's a Nanyabhak, an exclusive devotee, then he's already sarvadharmam paritaja. He's given up all types of dharma in favor of Krishna conception. So he's saying, then it's saying, sadhur eva samantavya. If you can maintain your faith and your vision of him as sadhu, even though he's done this apparently objectionable thing, abominable, sinful, objectionable, if that doesn't break your faith, you still see sadhu, then you'll benefit from this sort of vision. It'll be good for you to see things this way. He's done nothing wrong, really. As Guru Maharaj said in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. What is that other sloka? Can't think of it right now. Where when Guru Maharaj, some devotees objected to the activities of another devotee, but they thought Saraswati Thakur won't hear of it from them, so they enlisted Srila Guru Maharaj. They thought, if he tells Saraswati Thakur will take it from him and take it seriously. And so when Guru Maharaj presented this objection, Saraswati Thakur was very disappointed with him. And he said, I could expect this from the others, but not from you. And with regard to that devotee, he said various things. One is, he said, I'm prepared to throw money in the Ganga if it's necessary for the service of Mahaprabhu. And anyway, and Guru Maharaj backed up, it was dropped. Bhajatam priyasya. Anyway, then a few months later, they're in Madras. Saraswati Thakur is taking a tour of the ashram or the printing facilities, and there's an open Bhagavatam. And Saraswati Thakur says to Guru Maharaj, here's the answer to your question. And because it was 3 months later, Guru Maharaj was saying, what question? I didn't ask any question. But I mean, Saraswati Thakur was like, gave an answer at the time, but 3 months have gone by, so it's still thinking sometimes about this. Swapad mulam bhajata priyasya. That's the sloka. Where it says, in a similar vein, in the example Guru Maharaj gives, a soldier, killing is an abominable thing, right? But the soldier may have to kill people. The policeman may have to kill people. Sometimes in executing their duty, they may even make a mistake, but they're not to be reprimanded or punished for that. Why? Because they're acting on behalf, they're surrendered. That's what he's saying, that being said there in the Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If someone is wholly surrendered soul, totally given over the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga, there's any sort of punishment, reprimand, penance, atonement would be less purifying than what they're already doing. They're already exclusively engaged in Krishna consciousness. Now you're going to give some lesser thing to purify them. They're already engaged in the ultimate purification. So there's no reprimand, there's no punishment. Any other question?
Maharaj, back on the topic with donation. Is it
What relation?
donation?
Oh, donation?
Yes, if people buy something, for example, ticket for a festival or something, do they also get sukriti, or it should be like voluntary?
What is that?
If people buy something from a devotee, like donate for festival, like
Yeah.
buy tickets, is it also considered to be like a donation? Do they also get sukriti?
If they buy a ticket to go to a festival?
Yes, something
Oh.
like this. Or buy a like sweet bowl in a sweet shop.
This is the Krishna consciousness movement. Inevitably, there has to be some consciousness of what we're doing. For so long, so many things can be done in the name of agyata, sukriti, unknowing. It's like Shrudasrava Prabhu Vaishnava Maharaj, one of his seva in Los Angeles would be driving the Sankirtan ladies to the airport. And and Divya Shakti deity was there at the time. And there'd be some class, and there would be a lot of emphasis on agyata sukriti, which means like unknowing. Agyata means ignorance, actually, not knowing about something. So sometimes he said he'd hear some girls as he's driving them saying like, "We were told this morning in the class we have to come to the agyata platform." You understand? I mean, it's like the platform of ignorance. Someone was probably talking about agyata sukriti, but that's what their takeaway was. That we were told, come to the agyata platform. Where we don't know. As the last verse. So Guru Maharaj joked in reference to Yajavar Maharaj. And so then someone could make a case, say, so the greater the misbehavior, the greater the level of Vaishnavata. Right? That type of misconception or not thinking in the right way. So when Guru Maharaj was told that there were some like mass production of some like vegetarian what do you call it? Like these bars you get in a health food store, right? Energy bar, let's say. Mass production of these energy bars, and that, in principle, they're being offered. So the idea of those devotees was that they're distributing prasadam, right? So they'd say, 100,000 of these are being distributed every month. People are going into a health food store and they're buying one of these energy bars that was offered. Right? So Guru Maharaj said, when he's all, that this prasadam is being distributed, and he said, and yes, whether it's, and whether it's, what type, what quality of prasadam? What? And Guru Maharaj said, like Kanishta Bhagwat Prasad, Madhyam Bhagwat Prasad, Maha Bhagwat Prasad. He said, there's a difference? Yes, there's a difference. So when I was newly joined in Krishna consciousness movement in Los Angeles, Srila Prabhupada came there, and sometimes he has a servant. I think he was changing servants at the time, or anyway, sometimes he would also cook. So this one devotee, sannyasi Maharaj named Vishnu Janaswami, he came down from Prabhupada's room, and he called me over and said like, come with me, and we went underneath this tree, and he had some prasadam, but it was Prabhupada's prasadam, but it was also cooked by him. So he wanted to like share this with me. But I remember we're sitting under the tree, and before we take, he says, he's a very like charismatic, dramatic person. He said, considering that Prabhupada like cooked this and offered it to Krishna, and he said, how pleased Krishna must have been to receive this, to taste this. And with that in mind, Krishna, Prabhupada, we took this prasadam. So I consider that a great fortune and incomparable to other things. So, but still, there's the origin and then the consciousness of those who are honoring. We say honor prasadam. As when Professor Senyal's brother was visiting him at the mat and saw they're taking so much prasadam, and he raised some objection about the quantity of what was being consumed, and Senyal said, of what was being eaten, and Senyal said, we don't eat here. And his brother was like, are you mad? I just saw you eating something. No, we don't eat. We don't eat here. His brother was like, this is crazy, And Senyal said, no, he said, we honor prasadam, but there's no eating going on here. That's his conception. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when you honor prasadam properly, prasada seva, what is that? Prapancha joy. What is that line? Anyway, prapancha joy means you, by honoring prasadam, you conquer over the mundane. It's that potent. And Prabhupada sometimes said, even an atheist can taste the difference. Like where we used to live at World Club Land, the man across the street, the little girl Pan, she liked to come and associate with the devotees, but her father, he wouldn't let her eat anything because he knew it had something special in it. He was afraid if she eats prasadam that she'll become a devotee. He should be afraid, very afraid, because it's true. Vrindavan Das Thakur's mother took the remnants of Mahaprabhu. So there's always, Guru Maharaj is always telling us to be mindful of quality, the quality of something, whatever it is. To be mindful of that. Its source and also from that side and this side, both sides, always. They told generally the disciple, they should not try and purify the guru. To bring, they say, oh, here's the prasadam from here, and now you. That's not the way. And once from Nrsimhapoli, there's a time of year, Gaur Purnima, where much paramana, sweet rice is taken there, brought back. That's one thing. But this is some other time. Some devotees come and they're telling you, here's the prasad of Nrsimhadev. And he looked at me and he said, like he put his hand out, but he said to me, Guru Maharaj, you do he's not going to do that, take from him. He said, but we're afraid of Nrsimhadev. And then he said, but Nrsimhadev is afraid of Guru Maharaj. So we prefer that there's some consciousness there for what people are doing. Right? Same. Remember, this is the Krishna consciousness movement. Yes, we sing the glories of Agyata Sukriti when people unknowingly, in whatever way, get some connection. Garga Samhita is talking about the glories of tilak. Saying if someone was putting on their tilak and some of it spilled from their hand onto the soil, if the worst type of sinner, murderer, irredeemable person drops dead on that spot, they get liberated. But then we shouldn't think like, that's what I'll do. I'll live a life of the most heinous, objectionable type of behavior, and I'm counting on dropping dead on some soil where some tilak is. That can't be the way. Then we're going back, we're saying, oh, Valmiki, Mara, Mara, Rama, Mara, Rama, Rama, Rama. These are wonderful things that we're told to show us the power. Then if we hear their glorification, then it should bring about some reverence within us for these things, that we'll be conscious about prasadam and tilak and tulsi and everything, and not be absent-minded about it. We don't want to be absent-minded, but have some presence about who is before us, what is before us, and particularly what is worshipable. But agyata sukriti leads one to gyata sukriti, knowingly cooperating for one's betterment. And this accumulation of sukriti is manifest as shraddha, sadhu sangha. So we're always back to that. Sadhu sangha. Saraswati Thakur distilled that as the essence of Bhaktivinoda's of all the things we gathered from there, the important sadhu sangha. So he started an organization, an institution with many branches to provide association for people and opportunities to hear the holy name, all those things. Sadhu sangha, Bhagavat Shravan, Nam Sankirtan, Murti, Seva, making the place a holy place where people can come and get something substantial. Hare Krishna.